In the prior activities, we've been working with storage spaces to some degree, but only through the GUI. And while the graphical interface is great for learning and first time of doing tasks, it's not always the best method of doing the activities on a recurring basis or against multiple machines at the same time. In that case, we're going to do essentially the same as what we had just completed, except this time we're going to use PowerShell. Now, a quick note, there is a typo in this lab on step number 4. Basically, there's a missing dash on one of the lines, one of the properties, and so we need to add the dash in. So we'll start off by looking at our environment here. We are in disk management, and we can see we have our 3 virtual disks, our 3 basic disks, which are all currently online but have no volumes on them. If I look briefly in Server Manager, we will see that I still have my primordial pool that has not yet been promoted to anything else, and the physical disks are still up for grabs. Let's go ahead and open up PowerShell, and we'll run from there. Zoom in a little bit and move back to the left-hand side so it's a little bit easier to see. First thing we want to do is get a list of all the disks. So I'm going to create a variable here called pool disks. And inside of pool disks, I'm going to run get-physical disk. Wait for tab complete. There we go. And then -can pool, tab complete. $true. So this is going to run the command get physical disk, and it's going to specifically look for disks that can be included in a pool and then store the contents in my pool disks. If this is your first time seeing parameters or variables in PowerShell, you can just simply type pool disks, $pool disks, and it will give you the output of what had been previously run. So this command ran, stored the contents into a shoebox here called pool disks, and then we opened up pool disks and we saw the output. Great. Next thing we want to do is to create a storage pool, and we want to include those disks in it. So new -storage pool. Friendly name will be pool1. Physical disks, we want to include our $pool disks. So with those 3 disks there, we want to be included in our pool. And then storage subsystem friendly name, Windows star, and enter. When this is done, we should be able to look back into Server Manager. And if we refresh this, this primordial pool should disappear, and our new pool that we just created should show up. There we are. There's pool 1. And if we look back to disk management, we'll see that our 3 disks are no longer in existence because they're now part of the pool. Back to PowerShell. And this is where there is a typo. So it's new -volume. Now that we have the pool, now we want to create a volume on the pool. Storage friendly name. Storage pool friendly name, is pool1. So we want to create a volume out of pool1. Friendly name, the name for my volume should be new vol. Drive letter. So I want to create a V drive. Provisioning type, thin. And then here's where the error is. It is -resiliency. Parity. Oops. I was expecting tab complete to work there. Apparently not. And then -size, 10 gigabyte. Very quickly, you will notice, so I put the dash in here. If you don't put the dash in, it should kind of stand out because the colors are different around this section. Oops. They're all white, as opposed to up here we have kind of gray, white, gray, white, gray, white, and then here we just have white, white, white. So that should help stand out the fact that something is wrong, as well as me telling you. So I press enter, and when this is done, we should now have a V drive up here onto our computer. There we are, a V drive, new vol, NTFS. If I go to File Explorer, there's my new vol as expected. And we have just created a new storage pool and a virtual disk and a volume in our system. Great. We can double check this through PowerShell as opposed to the GUI that I've been showing. Get-virtual disk. Will give me a list of all the virtual disks in my environment. In this case, I could see new vol. This only gives me a certain amount of information. If I want more, I do the pipe symbol. That's shift and the key right above the enter key. And then FL, which means for format list. So it will format all of the information in a list format. When I press enter, we will see there is a lot of information there. And I keep scrolling, and there we go. So lots and lots of information down here to be returned. Sometimes that is too much information. So what we will do is we'll go back to format FT, format table, and then specify the information we want, such as the friendly name, size, and number of columns. Enter. And it tells me the friendly name is new vol, the size is that, and number of columns 3. Let's do a little bit different. Let's do a get-virtual disk and then pipe where-object-property operational status -EQ OK. So here we're saying, give me every virtual disk and then filter through it and look for a property called operational status and only show me the ones that are OK. Now I can scroll up here and I can actually look, they are somewhat alphabetical. Operational status is OK. But this would be a quick and easy way to be able to see all the virtual disks in my environment where the status is OK. I can actually change this. Instead of EQ for equal, I can say NE for not equal. And then I can look for any virtual disks that are not OK. One more. Get-virtual disk -health status healthy. And then this will return all of the virtual disks with a healthy status. Awesome. All right. Now that we've created the volume, we've created the pool, we've created the partition, let's go ahead and remove all of that. So still here in PowerShell, let me actually clear my screen. I'm going to remove -virtual disk. And the disk is going to be the new volume. Confirms, am I sure? Yes. And it actually warned me this is going to delete all of the data. Now that the virtual disk is gone, I should be able to see back here on File Explorer, my V drive is gone. Same thing here under Computer Management, Disk Management, it is gone. And then lastly, we can go ahead and remove -storage pool. Storage pool. Tab complete's getting a little crazy there. Pool 1. And it will ask me if I'm sure. I will say yes. And when that is done in Computer Management, yep, there's my 3 disks. And in Server Manager, my pool, when I refresh, will go away and it will go back to the primordial without any disks assigned to it. Lastly, let's double check that through PowerShell. Get-physical disk. This is where we started from. -can pool, $true. And our 3 disks are now being returned as yes, these can be pooled because they're not being used by anything else at this point.